Hello and welcome to our newscast. I'm Hwang Jie live from Seoul. We start off with Washington's condemnation of North Korea's recent intermediate-range ballistic missile launch. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest on Tuesday local time slammed Saturday's failed test launch, calling it a violation of UN Security Council resolutions. He added the U.S. is closely cooperating with its allies to ratchet up pressure on North Korea to further isolate the regime and prevent it from going through with similar types of provocations. Earnest went on to say that discussions on deploying the THAAD missile defense system to South Korea have started under such circumstances to protect Seoul from continued military threats. And the UN Security Council also strongly condemned Pyongyang's missile launch in a closed-door meeting in New York on Monday local time. Shortly after the failed missile launch, North Korea lashed out at the United States, saying it could preemptively launch a nuclear attack on the U.S. It also claimed it's capable of conducting at least 3 more nuclear tests. But despite Pyongyang's missile launch failure, a U.S. expert says North Korea's aggressive testing schedule could see its Musudan missile enter operational service next year. Writing for the U.S.-based North Korea monitoring website 38 North, John Schilling said the regime's failed Musudan missile launch last weekend is noteworthy, as it could be a sign the North is testing to see if they have really mastered something new. He said the move shows that in spite of only one successful launch among 7 attempts this year, North Korea is not simply repeating old failures, but tweaking variables every time. Saturday's missile launch took place from its west coast, while the rest were launched near its city of Wonsan on the southeast coast. South Korea's political parties are locking horns over claims made in the memoir of an ex-foreign minister. The ruling Saenuri Party is fixated on one excerpt from 2007 in which it's claimed Moon Jae-in, a potential presidential nominee for main opposition party, asked North Korea's opinion before a UN vote. The main opposition party says the move is an attempt to cover various corruption allegations swirling around the ruling party. Park Ji-won has more.
Former Foreign Minister Song Min-soon's account of a decision made during the Roh Moo-hyun administration has set off a firestorm in domestic politics. The account from his memoir released last week details South Korea's decision to abstain from 2007 vote on a UN resolution on North Korea's human rights record. According to Song, Moon Jae-in, who was the chief of staff to the late president at the time, proposed that South Korea ask for North Korea's opinion on the matter before voting. In the end, Seoul abstained from voting. Since the release of the memoir, the ruling Saenuri Party has lobbed harsh criticism at Moon and the opposition.
If it's true, it constitutes an abandonment of sovereignty and a breach of the law. We need to get to the bottom of this using every possible means, including a parliamentary investigation, hearing, and a special prosecutor.
Moon, who is the former chairman of the main opposition Minju Party of Korea and a presidential hopeful in 2017, and his party went on the attack.
They are once again politicizing inter-Korean issues to cover up various corruption allegations.
With the country in crisis, the Saenuri Party seems to have lost its senses. They're willing to defame our party's presidential candidate to cover up the Choi Soon-sil scandal.
In regards to the question whether Moon first favored voting to later change his position to abstention, Moon told reporters he doesn't remember details of the actual process as he was too busy directing overall inter-Korean relations back then. The minor opposition People's Party also had a strong reaction to the unfolding controversy.
Has the Saenuri Party ever formed a task force on the corruption allegations surrounding people like Choi Soon-sil? The ruling party continues to make absurd remarks without doing what's necessary.
Two officials who participated in the 2007 meeting, former Unification Minister Lee Jae-jung and former NIS Director Kim Man-bok, have refuted Song's account. The former intelligence chief said Song should be indicted for leaking classified information. In response, Song repudiated them both, saying the truth never changes. Park Ji-won, ARIRANG News.
Iraqi government forces are roughly 24 hours into their U.S.-backed offensive to drive the so-called Islamic State from the northern city of Mosul. Iraq's Prime Minister Haidar al-Abadi made a televised statement Monday announcing the start of the mission. The ISIS-linked Amaq news agency said its fighters had launched 10 suicide attacks on advancing forces near Mosul and that Peshmerga forces had encircled 5 villages but failed to take them. According to journalists and NGOs in the area, thousands of people are trapped inside the city as ISIS militants had threatened to shoot any civilians trying to escape. The commander of the coalition, U.S. Lieutenant General Stephen Townsend, said the operation would likely continue for weeks or possibly longer. If Mosul is retaken, Raqqa in Syria will be Islamic State's last remaining stronghold. With the U.S. election just 3 weeks away, a new poll shows Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton has a healthy 12-point lead over her Republican rival Donald Trump. The survey released by Monmouth University on Monday puts Clinton ahead of Trump at 50% to 38% in a four-way race that includes Libertarian Gary Johnson and the Green Party's Jill Stein. The poll was the first to be conducted entirely since Trump's sexual assault accusations emerged. Slightly under two-thirds of voters polled said they believed the allegations were credible, while 58% said they were not surprised by what they heard Trump say on the 2005 hot mic recording. Regarding Clinton's email leaks, a quarter of respondents said the WikiLeaks releases made them think less of the Democratic nominee. 45% said the transcripts had no impact on their impression of Clinton. The poll was conducted from October 14th to 16th on 805 registered voters with a margin of error of plus or minus 3.5%. And that wraps it up for now. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Hwang Ji-hye, and do join us again at 10 a.m. Korea time for more news updates with Mark Broom, and goodbye.